Hello everyone and welcome to a special Veterans Day edition of Pushing Positivity on the Pier, where we introduce amazing people, take a deeper look into their story, and share how they're making positivity actionable each day. I'm Josh Schiller, and today we have the pleasure of being joined by former engineer, current mayor-elect, and all-around superstar, Mr. Vito Perillo.
Hi.
Welcome to the show.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you, Josh.
It feels so good to be here.
Well, I'm glad you could come. When Michael told me about you, I said, let him come.
Well, you got some comfy chairs, so definitely settle in nice for the interview.
Very good. Very good. I hope you're comfortable. And if you see the Rogues Gallery up there, see all the pictures of my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren, all that good stuff.
So grandchildren are important. I mean, I don't know if there's anything more important than that, but...
Well, I'll tell you. I have 2 daughters. I have 4 grandchildren and 3 great-grandchildren, and I love them all.
So we're here now. Congratulations again on the recent election. You're the mayor. You're 93, right? And we're not going to make that the main topic of the interview, but you probably have learned a few things along the way. So what would you say are maybe some of the top 2 or 3 lessons that you've learned in your lifetime?
Well, you got to like what you're doing. You got to have perseverance. If you're working on a job and you like it, it makes the day go fast. It makes the job go better. If you enjoy what you're doing, you can do it well. If you don't enjoy what you're doing, then it's a hassle. And perseverance is my motto. When I do something, I want to do it, and I want to do it well, and I'll do it until it is done well. In this case, I set a goal to become mayor of the town because I was unhappy with the way things were going in town. I didn't like the way the borough was being run, and I thought, well, let me give it a go. It's one thing to complain about something, and then it's something to do something about it. And I thought, well, let me try to do something about it.
I'm right there with you in terms of, instead of complaining about the message, create the message. And in your case, instead of complaining about the mayor or the current politics that are at play, you decided to put your name in the ring and then also do the work to get there. And that's really where we got to here. So again, let's go back a little bit and let's talk about your time in the Navy.
I got out of high school, and I didn't know what to do after that. It was difficult getting a job, so I went to technical school. I went to a Radio and Television Institute in New York, and that's how I got my fingers into electronics, so to speak. My dad was in construction, and he never had a steady job. He never knew when his next job was going to come up. So he told me, he says, Vito, number one, I want you to get a good education. And then what he did, he went to the Christopher Building in New York, and he got an application for federal employment. I filled the application out, and I thought nothing of it. I mailed it in, and lo and behold, about a month later, here it is midnight, and there's a big rap on the door, bang, bang, bang. I said, oh, Western Union, Western Union. And what it was a telegram. It says, report to Fort Monmouth to work. And that was in June of 1942, and I came down here to Eatontown, and I came to Fort Monmouth. Now I was 2 years before my 18th birthday, and I got a job at Fort Monmouth, and they sent me to school. They called it the radio repair. It was for the Army communications, radios for the Army. In May '43, I got my notice, my induction notice, and I went down to the induction hall, and at that time, they had enough people for the Navy, for the Army, and I had a choice that day, Navy or Marine. So I selected the Navy, and in the Navy, I went to school for 6 months again to study electronics, study all about radar, underwater gear, sonar, and in June, let's see now, I'm trying to think of the month. It was in 1944, I forget what May, it might have been May of 1944. I got aboard a ship called the USS Montrose, APA 212. It was in tax transport. We carried troops aboard the ship. We were going to go towards the mainland, to Japan. We were getting ready to go to Japan. Before we got to Japan, they dropped the atom bomb. And so as a consequence, they stopped the ship from proceeding to Okinawa, turned it around, and we became a vehicle to bring people back home already. And we picked up troops in the Philippines, in Guam, and we took them back to the States. And of course, then I came back to Fort Monmouth. I had my job then, and luckily enough, they took me back, and I've been there since for 38 years, and I retired in 1980. And after
Retired?
I retired in 1980, if you want to believe that, from the job.
Add up the math.
I retired from the job, and then I didn't like staying home, so fortunately I was able to get a job with a CPA firm in Neptune, and I was helping the firm with the budgeting and auditing process of the various municipalities, and that was good experience.
So that time that you had in the service, what was, I guess, the biggest takeaway? Because you spent almost 4 years, 3, 4
3
years.
years, yeah, 1 year aboard ship. Yeah,
What was your biggest takeaway from all that? Was there a life lesson you learned from that time? Did it change you in any way?
Well, nobody wants to go to war, and I was the last one who wanted to go. I'm lucky I'm alive. I'm lucky I came out alive. Let's put it that way. And as I say, everything's perseverance. You had to put up with a lot of stuff aboard ship. The general quarters up and down. You couldn't get any sleep.
So we came back from the war. Did we start a family at this point?
When I got out of service, I think it was 1945 or 46, and I didn't get married till I was 25 years old. And we had a good marriage. I can attribute my longevity to the married life. I mean, Mrs. Perillo was good.
Marriage isn't all bad. See.
She kept me on the straight and narrow. She fed me good. We were married for 64 years. In fact, if she had lived another year, the both of us would have been married 65 years and both been 90 years old. If she had lived to 2014, as I say, we'd have been married 65 years and both been 90 years old.
So now, let's fast forward a little bit.
That's when I got the job with the accountant firm. I saw an ad in the paper that they needed somebody for bookkeeping, and I applied. And at the time, I was doing some accounting work for a firm, like reconciling balance the account of the checkbook and the book. So I took a sample of my work to the firm, and they hired me, and I was with them for 10 years.
Wow.
And that went well.
Okay, so now we've retired twice essentially, and retirement 2 times. Mayor, there had to be some stuff in the middle. What happened in between your decision to run for mayor and your second retirement?
I had a lot to do with my family, with my grandchildren got bigger, and then I spent a lot of time with the grandchildren. Then when the great-grandchildren, it was another joy of mine. I enjoyed my family. My 11-year-old great-granddaughter calls me Great Papa.
So we were really great-grandfather at this point. We had worked all of our life, worked hard. We were perseverant. We did things we liked. Where did this idea of running for mayor come from?
Well, I got a little upset when I read my last 2 years of tax statements. I have my tax receipts in 1980. I have all my tax receipts. So it comes 2015, 16. I said, this is outrageous. My municipal tax rate went up 13.6%.
Wow.
Which is a lot. And that's when I decided to run for mayor. I wanted so bad to do something, and I thought I could. So I must say, though, at first, my family wasn't for it. They said, Papa, what do you.
Great Papa, what are you doing?
What are you doing? Go have some fun. Go play golf. Go swim. Go do that. But when they saw I was intent on doing it, then they got behind me 100%.
So there were a couple sacrifices that were made in the form of shoes for everyone out there.
Well,
What's the story with the shoes?
Well, when you go, when you start walking house to house, and I don't think we missed a house in Tinton Falls. I mean, there had to be about 6,000 homes.
Wow. You wore out your shoes.
The sole actually fell off.
Look at these things.
Hey, look.
You get a high
And the
five,
water.
sir.
It's like
When's the last time
an alligator.
you wore out some shoes like this?
Wow.
So you literally went door to door, and let that be a great lesson for everyone out there. At the end of the day, if you want to make change, you have to be the change, but you have to be willing to literally, figuratively speaking, all the above, knock on every door.
Knock on every door. Through life, I found, if you want something done, you got to do it yourself. Period. Now, they tell me, what am I going to do when my term is up? You know, of course, this is another
Governor?
4 years. No.
So, with that being said, you've seen a lot of technology over your lifetime. What were, I'll say two because there had to be more than one. What were the biggest two or the most impressive technological advances that you've seen in your lifetime?
Well, the internet is fantastic. Facebook is a great help. I remember the first planes that went overseas to be on, over these Pan American with the pontoons.
Yep.
You know, now it's jets, and people now are getting ready to fly to the moon or
Vito in space. If you get,
in space.
if they give people the opportunity to travel to space over the next 4 years, would you go?
I would go. Yeah, sure. Why not? Why not? I would try.
You heard it here first.
I would try.
Vito in space.
Look at the technology in medicines. I mean, years ago, you'd have been dead. If somebody said you had cancer, you were gone. But today, they have so many techniques and medicines and procedures. It's just amazing.
So if we're sitting back here 4 years from now, and you've had a successful 4 years as mayor, what would you have had to accomplish for it to be a successful term?
To be a success. Just to do the best I could insofar as the expenditures, the budget. That's all. Just to have a budget that's reasonable and needed. You know, no excesses. If I make the people that put me in office happy, then I'll be happy. And my aim is to please them, to do what I promise to do, is that do my best to curb expenses, period, and to keep the budget within reasonable amount. That's all. The budget is the most important thing. If they're happy with what I'm doing, then I'm happy. That's my measurement of success.
All right. So now I got a couple quick questions. What was the most favorite car that you've ever owned?
The thing that gave me most satisfaction was to buy this 1994 town car for Mrs. Perillo. That was my favorite.
Where's the favorite place you've ever been on vacation?
The most fun I had was when the kids were small and I took them to Disney World in Florida.
What can we watch out for as a younger generation in terms of regrets?
Well, for my part, I have no regrets. But what I'm saying is, in life, you got to do what you want, what you have to do, what you like to do, and what you must do. There are must do's and there are don't do's. You know, if you do something that you don't like doing, you might have regrets. But if you go through life doing what your job, for example, if you like what you're doing and you enjoy your job, that's one thing. Now, if you have a job and you hate it and you're there just because you like the money, and you haven't, maybe you have something in your mind that you want to accomplish, then do it. I have no regrets. I loved every minute of it, and as I say, the most important thing is family.
So this is really the part of the show where if we didn't get to learn enough about you, we get to learn a little bit more. But this is really the time where, whether it's guiding life principles or just golden nuggets, your mantra, essentially.
Well, all I can say is that in life, you have your ups and downs. But again, I think the most important thing is your lifestyle. I would ask that you, if you're smoking, to stop smoking. Stay away from drugs. Stay away from bad company. Travel with people that you respect, that you would like to be with, that you enjoy being with. And of course, it's very important that you get your physical checkups every year. Live a long life.
Yes, I agree to that last point.
Amen.
Amen. All right, so two more things, and I promise
Okay.
we'll be done. Number one.
You said that two minutes ago.
He's sharp. He's sharp. Number one, thank you. Thank you so much for opening your doors, for being you, for remaining perseverant, for still obviously loving what you do, for caring not only about yourself, but your family, your community, and everyone who comes in contact with you. So thank you, number one. And number two, and this may be one of the most important parts of the entire interview, and it's one of these.
There you go. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Vito.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Okay.